It's funny. I only see you on air. So
what is your style off air?
My best friend from high school is a buyer at Barney's, so she sends me very stylish, like jeans, ripped jeans, like t-shirts, beanies. I just like to be comfortable because I find these clothes very binding. So.
Meghan McCain is one of the hosts of Outnumbered. Weekdays.
Your favorite show ever? Andy's a giant Fox News watcher.
Well, no, I'm joking. No, but I love you on Fox News. I mean, Fox and Friends is for mentally unstable
people. Okay, so
people.
the Fox press lady is here with me, and when we were walking in, I was like, I bet he's going to go after Fox and Friends.
Well, no, it's the dumbest show. But
so can I say something? Yeah. Abby Huntsman, who is the host of The Weekend, Outnumbered, whose father is John Huntsman, dear friend of mine, one of the smartest women I know by far, and hosts that show. So you can't say that without...
Excuse me.
Okay.
The spin, the Fox and Friends spin...
That's not my show, though.
No, I understand, but this is what I'm saying. I mean, I'm saying they will spin anything in such a pro-Trump way.
I would say that CNN will spin anything anti-Trump.
Fine.
To counter that.
Okay.
Like, there's definitely, every network sort of has... Fox, a conservative network, it is. Yeah. And there's a lot of Trump fans, a lot of Trump watchers.
Yeah, I get it. I'm just saying, I think Fox and Friends specifically is ridiculous. I don't think I could do it.
Really?
Yeah. So now, do you think Trump should continue tweeting, or what's your feeling?
I would do anything to get him to stop tweeting because my life is literally run by his tweets, by whatever he does, whatever his impulses is on his phone or computer or wherever he's tweeting from.
Does it seem like they're starting to regulate him a little bit? No, not really.
This is like every time someone tells me that it's under control, then something insane happens. Like he says that the White House is or alleges that he's recorded James Comey. So every time I get excited that maybe we are controlling the narrative a bit more, something crazy happens.
So that's a really good point. Like Fox and Friends had Trump on last week and did the most softball, ridiculous
I have nothing
interview.
to do with Fox and Friends.
No, I know.
Daytime.
I'm just saying they did a ridiculous interview with him. So. Do we say who your boyfriend is? Is that
no? He gets. This is the thing. I would talk about my boyfriend all day long and give intimate details about our relationship and how in love I am. But he's so weird about it because people are such. And I will say, people are nasty, as you are well aware. Do you put photos of you in your?
No.
No, because people are so mean, right?
Just also. Yeah, there's not a win.
There's no win,
yeah,
right?
No win.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you know him, and he's very nice.
Yeah, he is nice. Okay. I will move on. So what story are you hopped up about today that you'll be talking about on Outnumbered?
The health Obamacare repeal and replace is going to be the big one.
And so
Kennedy
what do
possibly.
what first of all, do you think it will pass? There's some Republicans.
Can I say one thing, though? I was texting with my friend S.C. Cupp, who works at CNN.
I love her.
Wonderful.
She's great.
One of my besties. We're both Bravo Housewives super fans. We were texting about how we are on the fence about Tinsley this morning. I blank you not. We had a whole text conversation. I was like, I don't know about her. I'm not sure.
That's way more important than the health bill.
Yeah,
way
exactly.
more. Well, both of. I mean, we were talking.
Yes.
Anyway.
So, do you think that it will pass? There are a couple of Republicans who say they're on the fence.
There's
but
quite
maybe
a few actually on both sides. So, what happened in Congress? I don't know how closely you guys want me to get wonky with this. So, just say when it's too
I'll
much.
interrupt you.
Okay. Yeah. So, there's two sides of the Republican Party right now. There's libertarian conservatives, the Rand Pauls, the Justin Amash's, strict fiscal conservatives who say that the bill doesn't go far enough, that any government intervention, any government mandate is heresy and we can't have it. Okay. Then there's the more moderates like John Kasich, Ben Sass, there are a few others right now. I don't know the exact list. I haven't on my notes. And both of them are from two different perspectives that the health bill, is either doing too much or doing too little with repealing. And there's only two people need to deflect for this not to go through, and I'm not so sure it's going to happen. I mean, you already have Rand Paul and Mike Lee saying no, hard no, and I just
so
don't know what's going to happen.
So you're saying that there only
it's
needs
entirely
to be
possible.
two
It's entirely possible.
And how does the bill look to you?
Well, I was for repealing and replacing, and I actually think this incarnation is pretty good. I'm more moderate, so I'm more in the middle on this.
And
I don't think
does
we
this
should
one
get
have
rid of
defunding Planned Parenthood totally?
Yes, it does, but I'm fine with that. I'm like a hardcore pro-life, borderline radical about it.
Really?
So, yes.
Right.
Which people are always surprised about.
I know. For some reason, I thought you were pro-choice. I forgot that.
No. But it will be interesting. It's the one thing that I'm most interested in with repeal and replace with Republicans right now is how much of this is just people playing it up for the cameras. Like, does Mike Lee, will he ultimately, and Ted Cruz, will they ultimately end up repealing and replacing because they want to, get in line with President Trump and it was such a big promise to voters? Or will they be like, you know what, this isn't what I believe, this isn't going to be good enough for my constituents, and then it ultimately won't pass. But it will not be done by the 4th of July. That timeline that Mitch McConnell is putting out is absurd, and it's just absolutely...
Where does your dad stand on it?
He's for repealing and replacing, but he thinks the idea that you would repeal and not replace, which is what people like Rand Paul are open to, is insane.
Right.
Because you can't just give people health care and then repeal it and replace it with nothing.
Right.
But people there's a very extreme segment of the Republican Party, which I consider Rand Paul and Mike Lee and Justin Amash libertarians. I don't consider them Republicans. It's entirely different methodology.
Right. I love your dad.
Are you guys
No,
like,
it's okay. No, I'm moving on to the next thing. I love your dad.
Thank you very much.
Great. American hero.
Thank you.
It must be interesting for you being an anti-Trumper at Fox News.
I was a never-Trumper, and I was really...
Right.
That's what they call us, or what they called us. But I'm not as hysterical about Trump right now as a lot of never-Trumpers are.
Okay.
Just because he hasn't been as extreme as I would have thought, and quite frankly, he's not getting anything done at the moment, other than choosing a Supreme Court member, with Gorsuch.
Right.
So I can't wake up every day and be hysterical about the world. I don't think it's like a healthy way to be. So.
Yeah, it's not.
But there are other never-Trumpers that work at Fox.
There are.
Dana Perino was a big one, and she co-hosts the Five. She was one.
Right.
And I believe. She was not a fan of Trump. I don't know if she was a never-Trumper like me, but yeah, they're definitely there.
Oh my God, that Justice what's her name?
Justice Janine Pirro.
Oh my God,
with
she's
short
a
hair.
lunatic.
So can I tell you why I love her?
Oh my God.
Let me tell you why I love her.
She should be a Jersey housewife.
She should totally be a Jersey housewife.
Yeah.
She swears more than I do off camera, which I swear a lot, and she rides a Harley. And I think those are cool. I mean,
I do too. I agree with virtually nothing that she says.
You would like her.
I'm sure
telling you, you would
I
like her.
I would, but I also kind of hate her.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think I probably would like her.
I mean, I think off air you might like.
Yeah,
her.
I might.
Is she a love to hate?
I like
you
her. She's been.
Oh, that's so funny.
Really nice
she might
to
be
me,
a love to hate for me.
There's a lot of women at Fox you might love, and then other ones I don't know. You might.
Right.
Why are you doodling? Am I boring you?
No, I doodle during.
This
interviews.
is part of the show.
Yeah, this is what I do.
This is
I might
on the
give
radio,
you the doodle
so I only
afterwards.
listen to it.
So when your dad at the Comey hearing. What happened?
My gosh. So this is one of the craziest things ever.
Yeah.
So he had gone on a trip for 75,000 miles across the world. He went to Australia. He went to, I believe, Cambodia. He was basically being a shadow diplomat, as it was called by the Washington Post. And he was totally exhausted.
Yeah.
Totally just zonked out, and he totally blew it. I called him immediately and said, "You totally blew it. You're trending on Twitter. What the hell happened?"
And what did he say?
He said, "I'm exhausted and I totally blew it." And I have had a very long conversation with many people on his staff who will no longer be working for him.
Really?
This is my thing. My father's 80 years old and he's completely capable. He's an incredible senator. He has the energy he has more energy than I do. But any person who's flying around the world 75,000 miles around the world doing the kind of schedule that he has, up at 5 a.m, going back in your room at midnight, is going to be tired.
Yeah.
And you can't send someone on this trip knowing this giant hearing that has 20+ million people coming up comes on and then doesn't have the schedule to sleep. He should be an adult as well, but we had a big.
So you're telling me then you spoke to some of his staff members and said, how could you do this?
No, I said his schedule's insane for anyone. And that it's
much
fine
less
to have.
That he's 80.
And senators should work very, very, obviously they should work very, very hard. He's up at the crack of dawn, but I think when you have something as important as the Comey hearing, you have to really prepare.
And people lost their jobs over it.
Well, I think they're just moved.
Wow.
I think they're moved to different
Wow.
Yes.
So let me ask you this. Do you have that kind of sway in your father's administration?
He doesn't have an administration. He has an office.
I mean, his staffing?
No, I don't.
But you have a voice.
I will tell you when I'm upset, and I will tell. He has 2 main people who work for him that run his office. That I'm very close to one of them, and if something goes wrong, obviously I'm going to say.
They don't like to get that call from you.
No, but I mean, I love my father, and I'm insanely proud of him, and I think the work he's doing right now is extremely important.
Very.
And I think time to sleep and eat is okay.
Right. Yes.
Well,
I think he's a really important voice, and I thought that he was I knew there was a point he was trying to make about the Hillary Clinton connection to what Comey was talking about, and I actually wanted to get to the point. I was frustrated because I was like,
you tweeted something too.
I don't
remember.
I said I think he was trying to say. I tweeted and said, "Do you guys think the point he was trying to make was?" And I can't remember what it was, but because that's what I thought.
It's the only big gaffe I can remember of his in like the past 10 years, so it's pretty good. That being said, obviously, people make mistakes. People aren't human, and
it's a bummer to make it on that kind of a platform in front of all these people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
then Twitter just turns on you. And
Twitter is
so
so horrible sometimes.
So mean. It really is.
I had Billy Eichner come after me at that because I was talking about Meryl Streep's speech at the Golden Globes.
I remember that.
And I have to tell you, the insane vitriol I got directed at me. It was in my entire life I've never experienced anything like it.
God.
And I was like, I'm just trying to explain to you Trump voters. And again, I am a good ambassador. I can explain the left to the right and the right to the left.
No, that's why I love you.
Thank you. I live in New York City. I'm from Arizona. I have friends who love Trump, worship at the altar of Trump. I have friends who think he's the Antichrist. I can explain it to you. And if you scream at me for trying to explain it to you, we're only going to be dividing each other more.
You know what part of the problem also is, and it's something that I jump back on a lot, if I say something nasty about Trump on Twitter or, and then his supporters might tweet me back and say, how could you do this? How could you speak of someone this way? The problem is also that he set such a bad example because he's doing it himself. So it's hard not to
You mean like his tweets?
Yeah.
Well, I don't like his. I've said that. I mean, I don't like his tweets. I don't like the Twitter. I mean, I understand it's a means to an end to like sort of bypass the media. I get it.
No, I get it. And I get why there's some people who think he shouldn't stop tweeting.
But you're a brilliant communicator, and I think that if I have to explain it too much what he's really saying, the laws of politics you've already lost. I shouldn't have to explain it to voters what he's really saying. And my understanding from reports is that his staff doesn't have much control over it.
Yeah,
from my understanding,
no one has control over it.
You hate him so much.
I really do.
Yeah.
You know what it is? I don't respect him at all, and that's hard. I respect Lindsey Graham, and I respect so many Republicans, and I mean, I just don't respect him.
Do you have a candidate coming up next time you think can beat him?
I don't know.
Is there anybody you like?
Oh my God, a Democrat that can beat him?
Is there anybody you like?
I like what's her name, Kamala from California.
That'll never happen.
That'll never happen.
Don't hitch your wagon to that.
Okay, why will that never happen?
Because you have to start winning over the Rust Belt voters that you lost, and that's not the person to do it.
Right.
And it's not because she's a woman, and it's not because she's a minority. It's because of her politics.
Right. Okay.
Is it a stupid thing to mention Elizabeth Warren? That's a dumb thing to say.
Again, I think if you want to run
totally
someone like
ignorant,
that,
by the way.
You're not. No one's
a
ignorant.
Little bit.
I'm sorry, you haven't even been talking.
I don't want to talk.
Yeah.
I love Elizabeth Warren.
I mean, Elizabeth Warren she's the base, which is San Francisco, Los Angeles, New York, sort of progressive liberals, and you already have that.
In the rest.
You already have that. You need someone.
What about Gavin Newsom?
I think you got to go more Tim Ryan, governors from Ohio.
Who is
people.
the Democrat?
Tim Ryan is the first person to come off the top of my head. I think Cory Booker, if he's very, very smart about it and chooses the right running mate, could be formidable. But I'm not so sure he's capable of doing that. Other than that, I don't know. No offense, it's not my problem, but it'll be interesting. I keep hearing rumors of people running that are going to attempt to primary Trump, and it'll be interesting to see if that goes anywhere as well.
All right, we're gonna take a break. We will be back more with Meghan McCain live. Yeah,
unfortunately, radio always feels like you're in someone's living room, and I'm probably gonna get in trouble for
I just can't get enough of Meghan McCain. She is one of the hosts.
Some of your fans
Outnumbered.
don't like me.
Are,
by the way, they're like, I don't understand why he has a hard-on for you. And I was like, that's mean.
Why they're tweeting this to you?
Yeah.
Jesus.
And I was like, be nice. You got to have some cross-promotion
Oh my
here and now.
God. People are so nasty.
People are mean.
Meghan is a very nice young lady.
Thank you. I'm fascinated. Am I allowed to say what you told me during the break about you two? Or is that a
Oh,
secret?
yeah.
You two are exes.
Yeah.
I hate every person I've ever dated. I never want to see anyone who's seen me naked. I never want to see again. You're gone. It's over.
Well, he saw me naked when I had a really good body. So
You seem like you
it's
still
okay.
have a really good body.
Thank you, Meghan.
No
McCain.
offense. You're welcome.
I'm in ketosis.
Meghan, what is happening with what do you think is going to happen with the whole Russia hacking our election investigation?
I don't know. I mean, there's been obviously I watched the entire Comey hearing and not that much came out of it, and I'm still waiting for this smoking gun. I 100% think Trump's relationship with Putin is bizarre. I think the rhetoric's bizarre. I think anyone who knows, even has the most cursory understanding of foreign policy, understands how incredibly dangerous this man is.
And why is Jared Kushner meeting with the Russians after? It's so weird.
I don't know.
That's Yiddish for Jared.
Jared.
I've never heard him speak before.
Oh,
and,
he spoke. He's like a little.
He looks like he's always
like an
doing the
Upper East
mannequin
Side
challenge.
Jewish guy who has no.
He just walks around doing the mannequin challenge.
But I really like, General McMaster and Mattis, Mad Dog Mattis, and he has really smart people in working for him foreign policy wise that I trust implicitly.
Yeah, it seemed like what everyone was saying at the beginning was Flynn is the scariest guy, and then he completely bombed out and left. So
there were always rumors about Flynn, which was why I was surprised that they ever hired him to begin with, because there were always rumors and reports that he had taken money from foreign entities and from Russia, and again he's not around anymore, and he might end up going to jail. So we'll see how that plays
Why
out.
did Obama not do anything if they thought that the Russians were hacking the election?
So I'm super hardcore about Russia because my father's John McCain, and we talked about it my entire life growing up around the dinner table. And I've always had a very strange breadth of knowledge about Russian history and Putin and Crimea and Ukraine. And if you remember Obama in the Romney debates making fun of Romney, saying that the 1980s called for their foreign policy when Romney brought up Russia and Putin expanding himself across the Baltic states. Obama, I think he didn't see the threat that both Russia and his sort of minions
hacking the election.
I don't think he either ignored it or I don't know. I have nothing to do with the Obama administration. I don't know, but he either ignored it or he didn't think it was quite the threat that it has become. But I've always thought it was naive and stupid to underestimate this man. He is a bully and a thug. He's an ex-KGB dictator who longs for the days of Mother Russia. He wants to exterminate the West and the way that we view the world. It's why he has been aiding and abetting Assad, why the Syrian refugee crisis has been raging out of control. And it's been naive, and I never understood it. I still don't understand it, but it certainly came back to bite them.
Let's go to Sally in New York with a question for Meghan McCain.
Hi.
Hey, Sally.
I'm concerned right now because my eyes have rolled to the back of my head so many times.
Why?
I need medical attention.
Okay.
That's really rude. Do you have a question?
I really want to get back to Planned Parenthood.
Okay.
And I want to know, because he's spun it away from Andy so quickly and changed the subject, I want to know why you don't believe all women deserve the proper health care.
Okay, so did you ever see the sting videos for Planned Parenthood? And this is a very dark subject. And by the way, my problem with coming on, why Republicans don't come on any other shows other than Fox anymore, is because you're talked to like that.
Right.
My beliefs, by the way, 50% of the women in this country are pro-life. I'm not alone in my beliefs. I'm not alone in my worldview.
I respect your opinion.
You do.
Yeah.
Sally doesn't.
Okay.
And so when you come at it in that way, it automatically makes women like me want to shut down, and it automatically polarizes us even more.
Right.
Do you see the sting videos that came out of Planned Parenthood literally selling and trafficking human fetal organs? They got in a lot of trouble over it. So the idea that my beliefs that life begins at conception and that I don't think that government should be paying for abortions is somehow...
Weren't those videos fake?
No, they were not fake.
What sting videos?
She means not Sting the singer. She means like those like...
They were undercover videos taken.
Right. I thought that those were not real.
No, it's totally real.
But Planned Parenthood is doing great work, no?
I like, again, I'm hardcore on
Yeah.
this issue, and I'm not trying to spin anything away. One rule that I have learned in anything before noon, it's kind of a rule of television that people don't like to talk about abortion before breakfast.
Yeah.
It's 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, right.
But I'm just saying that caller that called in is why people I know a lot of people who work at my network, a lot of people that work in conservative media that don't have time to ever speak to anyone else ever because you are harassed. I lived in Los Angeles for a year and a half.
Oh, God.
I was harassed every time somebody recognized me or figured out I was a Republican, and I think it's disrespectful. I would never talk to Sally that way. I would never say the fact that you're pro-choice, do you not believe what I believe? What's wrong with you? I don't talk to people that way, and I'd appreciate your callers not talking to me that way either.
Let's see if Jacqueline, New York, is
Please
a little
be nice.
nicer. Hey,
It's
Jacqueline.
early. I got to do my own show after this.
Hey,
Hi.
Jacqueline.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Good.
Good. So actually, I'm not like Sally.
Okay.
Good.
At ease. I'm just going to say I am a liberal Democrat, and on the lead up to the election, I decided to watch Fox for the entire year, actually, for like all of 2017.
Love it.
And I found myself really cold to be outnumbered. I loved your conversations. I thought you had really great guests, and it was, I love the fact that you were like a never Trumper, but I do respect your, pro-choice kind of viewpoint on it. I
Pro-life.
don't agree,
Yeah.
but I do respect.
What's your question,
what I
Jacqueline?
wanted to say,
Thank you.
Yep. So when your father was attacked by Trump for the, prisoner of war issue, which we do not need to go into entirely, I did think that that's one thing that does cross both party lines, and that your return to service initiative, I think that's a really good topic. And I was just wondering if you're still working with them and what you're doing with veterans, because that is important to Republicans and Democrats.
Yeah, I do a lot of work with the Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans for America. I'm going to do an event with them in November. And obviously, veterans issues is hugely important to me and my family. It's interesting, the comments President Trump made about my father and then the comments he's made about the Cohen family, if you remember that.
Yes,
the tactical
terrible.
family. Those two poll the least popular in polling ever. The American public, even Republicans and conservatives and Trump supporters had a problem with that. So I think the lines, he did show that the lines that are crossed when his ratings started to fall after the Democratic convention when the Cohen family Mr. Cohen made his speech, had a very negative effect, I think, across the country. So I think he's learned from making those statements. But yeah, veterans issues are always going to be important to me.
The phones are lighting up. Can you stay for like 5 more minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But be nice. I don't want to get. It's 11 o'clock in the morning. I don't want to get yelled at for being pro-life.
Okay.
We're having a respectful discourse.
We're going to take a break. We'll be back with Meghan after this.
Thank you.
So
I talked about that on Your Then and Now.
Yeah, you did.
Because I love her.
We're here with Meghan McCain, who is
I love
one of the hosts of Outnumbered on Fox News at noon. So we have to get you going, but the phone lines have
It's
lit
across
up.
the street. I'm fine.
So I want to just get into this. Let's go to Lauren in Texas. Hey, Lauren. What's your question?
I just wanted to find out, what are your thoughts on, do you think legalization or the descheduling or rescheduling of marijuana is going to happen?
Oh,
during
good
this
question. God,
administration?
look,
So,
Jeff Sessions is so
Jeff Sessions
anti-marijuana.
I know, and I'm from near him.
So, you know, Jeff Sessions thinks it's like he thinks it's like
He thinks
he's like
it's the
reefer
devil's-
madness.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
It's
So,
crazy.
I am actually, this is going to surprise you, but I'm actually for legalizing marijuana just because
Doesn't
everyone,
surprise me. I think you're
everyone
smart.
everywhere. I mean, it's so easy to get a 16-year-old can find marijuana. You might as well tax it and legalize
It's
it
also
and
not
get
the
the
problem.
economic
Yeah,
benefits
right.
for it. And I have to say, you know, people that talk about it being a gateway drug, I know not a lot, but I know people who smoke it recreationally and are very productive citizens, very successful, and don't like drinking, and they still want a vice at the end of the day. So I don't have a problem with the legalizing, and as long as you can get the tax benefits from it. Will it happen? Not under Jeff Sessions. No way.
He hates pot. Let's go to Laurel
It's
in
really,
Los
if you're
Angeles.
ever bored, Google YouTube it. It's really, I mean,
What about Jeff
his
Sessions?
take
It's
on
crazy.
It's like just it's like
crazy.
It's like black tar heroin to
But
him.
you know what else? He may not like Jews or black people either, but that's okay. Let's go to Laurel in Los Angeles.
I don't think he might step down soon. Yes.
Hi, Megan?
Yes.
Yes. My question for you is, I have become really impressed with your father in these last few years, and it just makes me wonder, how did he end up with Sarah Palin as a running mate? Did you have any input with that? Because, I mean, he seems way more together than her.
You know, I had no input whatsoever. I think I've talked about this on Then and Now. I actually found out the day that it happened, and I saw it on the news crawl because I'm really bad at keeping secrets, and my staff knew that, and I probably would have told people, and it would have leaked out. How did he end up with her? They needed a game changer. Steve Schmidt, who works for MSNBC, and Nicole Wallace are the sort of architects of Sarah Palin that came up with the idea of her originally, and then my understanding is she did very well in the pre-interviews and the vetting, and then history played out as it should. But I always wonder, people who have such a problem with Sarah Palin, would you take her over Trump?
That's a really good question.
Like, who would you prefer at this point?
Wow.
Because I do think the vilifying of all conservative women everywhere helped. I have a whole theory on what helped build Trump, and that's one of them. That we're not all evil. Just because you're pro-life doesn't mean that you're the
that's the
spawn.
thing. Well, actually, that is what has made me much more willing to embrace Republicans. Trump has, because like my respect for your dad has grown so much over the last year because he has seemed so sensible to me. And so, like, hold on, wait a minute. Russia is bad. What is going on? You know, it's like, and to me, it takes balls to be a Republican who will stand up and say, whoa, hold on, this is not good. And I feel like Paul Ryan actually has no backbone and no.
You know, it's so funny because a lot of Republicans don't like Paul Ryan either.
Good. Well, I think Paul Ryan is
good.
I know. I think that this is a time when people will be measured by who stood up and spoke and who didn't. And I think Paul Ryan has. I think your dad has proven to be a great hero again. And I think Paul Ryan is a total scumbag. Let's go to Joel in not a scumbag, but I think he's
actually a very decent man. I just think he's.
I don't think he has a spine.
I think he's. I think he's actually, but I think that it's very difficult in the Trump administration. He makes life.
Yes. Sorry,
you want to get to the next question? Clearly.
Let's go to Joel in Baltimore.
Hi, Megan.
Hi,
everyone. How you doing?
Good.
How are you?
Megan, I'm well. Yourself?
Thank you. I'm great.
All right. Megan, I have a love-hate relationship with you.
Okay.
I love you on social media. I love you here doing this interview. But when you get on Outnumbered, we don't see this side of you. And I want
it's
oh, that's
I want to support you, but it just seems like it's this bubble on that show where
this side of you, I just don't see it.
Well, it's a hard news show. Like we talk about, my rundown today is all healthcare and I think Syria, and I don't get a chance to talk about myself or pop culture very much, which was a choice, by the way. Like I had other offers for talk shows that were more.
They should have put you on The View. I mean, that was so dumb of them. Go on.
The View is a disaster, but it's okay. It makes me sad because they should have a real conservative on that show. They should have they should have someone who's like a hardcore,
smart,
and who's not scared of.
I mean, I love Nicole Wallace on that show actually, but I
can't stand Nicole Wallace.
Moderate. You can't stand Nicole Wallace.
I worked with Nicole Wallace on my dad's campaign. Her nickname was Nicole the Mole because she leaked everything.
Really?
And any McCain people, she is persona non grata.
Really?
Trust me. Yes.
Wow.
She's one of the few people. If she were like out there, I would try and go in another direction to not talk to her.
Ooh. Wow.
So anyway,
do you feel like she was harmful for your dad?
I think she was really. I think if anyone reads Game Change or reads reports of that, I don't think she. I think she went on TV after the election and said she couldn't vote for my father because of Sarah Palin when she was a part of choosing Sarah Palin and worked on his campaign. And I do not like, and nor do I stand for disloyalty in politics whatsoever. And I think it says a lot if you work on a campaign and then go out and publicly say you couldn't vote for the candidate.
Wow.
Which she
did. So to Justin's point.
I'm sorry.
Or no, to the point that was being made.
So I love Fox, and I wouldn't be at Fox if I didn't.
Right.
And I like my show, or I love my show a lot. But I can't show my personality as much because we're talking about very heavy news topics.
But maybe this person is saying that you sound more moderate here than you do on Fox News. Or do you think
I just
you
schooled one
that?
of your listeners about being pro-life, so I don't think so.
Right.
I really am who I am. If I have a drink with you in private, if I'm on this radio show, if I'm on Outnumbered, the Fox audience doesn't always love me either because I have been a big LGBT advocate, and when conversations about like trans rights and things come up, I still stay true to my beliefs, and I feel like I please no one except myself anymore, and that's the only way I can.
Hard. Let's go to Justin.
That sounded filthy, but I didn't mean that way. I just mean like I have to be true to myself.
Let's go to Justin in New York.
Hello.
Hi.
I was a little bit concerned because you were saying that you had influence in your dad's office in making personnel decisions. Your dad didn't take responsibility himself for when he didn't perform up to...
Oh, he took responsibility for himself as well. I just was concerned, as I think the internet was. And by the way, I do not have control over the hiring and firing in my dad's office at all. But if I think, in the same way that I think if Ivanka thinks her father isn't being served, she'll say something and I will say something. But ultimately, he makes the last decision.
Right.
Okay, yeah, I think it just sounded like you made decisions.
No, I wish I had that much power. I wish I had that much power in the world and in the Senate, but I do not. I'm sorry if that came off that way.
You mean like traveling too much as an 80-year-old man, like that kind of thing?
Yeah.
I just said you're traveling too much, and I would,
schedule.
yeah, and I don't think that's inappropriate.
Do you know Ivanka?
No, I've never met her. No.
Got it.
Do you?
I don't know. I took a spinning class with her.
So did I, a flywheel.
Yeah, I did too.
Oh my God, I could never do flywheel.
She did very well.
She
was
won
like number
the whole
one.
room.
Me too.
I could never do flywheel. I am like Soul Cycle better.
Yeah.
Same.
Let's go to Roger in New Jersey.
I hope that didn't come off like I'm the Svengali in my head. It's not that way at all.
Hey, Roger.
Far from it.
What's your question?
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
Well, I just want to say, while I disagree with some of her political perspectives, I have extraordinary respect for you because I think you are genuinely thoughtful and critically thinking. And I was very curious where you might weigh in on the recent case that will be heard before the Supreme Court about the baker that refused to make the cakes for the same-sex couple, what your thoughts were.
Thoughts on the baker who refused to make the cake for the same-sex couple?
Anyone anywhere should not serve anyone because of their religious or political beliefs, period. I know what it feels like to have people not want to serve you, not want to be around you at public places because of your political beliefs, or I would never want that for someone else. I think you shouldn't be a business that can refuse service to anyone because of their religious beliefs or whatever personal choices. It's not American. It's not what the principles this country was founded on.
Right. Guess who's on the line again?
Who?
Sally.
I don't want to talk to Sally.
Okay.
I'm sorry. If you want, I have a hard rule. I'm 32.
Yeah.
I'm pushing 33.
Yeah.
At this point in my life, I don't do that. Even at speeches that I make, if you want to be respectful, have a normal conversation. That's fine. But I am not the conservative sacrificial lamb for all the anger and you have toward the Trump administration. That's what it's like my life every day. Even every time people approach me, I'm like, "You're gonna be nice. You're gonna be nasty. Tell me."
It must be exhausting. I have to say.
Are people mean to you ever?
Yeah, sure, of course.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like you're America's like best friend.
No.
You've retweeted some people who've said some mean stuff.
People tweet mean stuff to me all the time. And
like what?
Anything. And people get mad at me when I talk politics because no one really wants to hear me talk politics, which I totally understand. No one wants to hear celebrities talk politics, but I just figure, look, if I was a private citizen, I would be doing this on my Twitter anyway. So sometimes I'm tweeting about
if
stuff
you're educated and respectful, I don't have a problem. I have a problem with people who like really don't seem to have even like know what they're saying at all, and who are mean. That I don't like. Like Kathy Griffin, I think it's nasty, and there's no way.
Right, the Kathy Griffin thing.
It's so gross. I gagged when I saw that photo just because I'm squeamish about blood.
Well, the problem is you can't. If that was Obama, all the everyone have said this is terrible.
I don't think anyone should do it about anyone.
No, of course not.
I mean,
you can't.
Bashar al-Assad, that's fine. Like like dictators, whatever.
Right.
But I think she hurt herself a lot.
Right.
Fox audience went crazy.
Oh, of course they did. That's
crazy.
Like chum.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. All right. I want to thank Meghan McCain. She is off
to
Outnumbered on Fox at noon. You can
I'm sorry I had to tangle ass with some of your listeners.
Outfit. That's all right.
You.
We like
sorry,
it.
Sally.
Sorry, Sally.
Thank you very much, Meghan McCain.
Thank you.
We will see you on Outnumbered. Great to see you. Please come back and hang out with us
anytime
soon.
you want.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thanks.
You shouldn't be so scared of Fox. You should come on.
Oh my God, I can't do it.